Massive palaces, gold, luxurious gardens, and unlimited power. The people of Ad built their own paradise on earth. Their bodies were like giants, and their strength was legendary. But this power led them into arrogance, and their king, whom Allah described as a great enemy in the Qur'an, spent 700 years building his fake paradise. They thought they were immortal. They claimed divinity. They became enemies of Allah and his Prophet. But they forgot one thing: no power can escape the punishment of Allah. In the end, they faced one of the greatest disasters the earth has ever seen. Neither their height, nor their wealth, nor their strength could save them. In this video, you will hear the unbelievable story of the people of Ad and their tragic end. Please don't forget to like this video to help it reach more people. With your support, we can delivering Islamic videos to every corner of the world. If you are ready, let's begin. Who is Hud and his prophethood? Hud is one of the noble prophets mentioned in the Qur'an, and he comes from the lineage of Prophet Nuh. In Surat Hud and other chapters of the Qur'an, it is told how he was sent to the people of Ad to deliver the message of Tawhid, the oneness of Allah. Even though he was constantly faced with the resistance of the Ad people, Hud's strong faith supported him. The people of Ad lived in a rich area known as Ubar or Iram, between today's Yemen and Oman. This region is described in the Qur'an as Iram Dhati al-Imad, Iram of the lofty pillars, and was known for its magnificent structures. This is mentioned in Surat al-Fajr. أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِعَادٍ إِرَمَ ذَاتِ الْعِمَادِ الَّتِي لَمْ يُخْلَقْ مِثْلُهَا فِي الْبِلَادِ. Have you not seen what your Lord did to Ad, to Iram of the lofty pillars, the like of which was never created in any land? These verses describe Iram as a city with pillars, pointing to the large and strong buildings of that area. The people of Ad were proud of their power and wealth in this beautiful city. They became arrogant and denied Allah. They were known for their strong attachment to idols. They ignored Allah's signs and acted as if nothing could harm them, becoming extreme in their wrongdoing. Allah had given the Ad people height, wealth, and blessings. They were very rich and had fertile lands. They lived in comfort and had long lives. People even used to say, like the envoy of Ad, to show respect and high hospitality. They built gardens, pools, and palaces on every hill. They believed these things would make them live forever. About the new generation that came after them, the Qur'an says, فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا. Then there came after them a generation who neglected prayer and followed their desires. They will soon meet destruction. During Hud's time, the leader of the Ad people was Shaddad. In the Qur'an, 3 major enemies of Allah are mentioned: Fir'aun, Namrud, and Shaddad. Shaddad aimed to make the whole world submit to him. He created a political system around idol worship, using cruelty and bloodshed to rule. Even though Hud gave the message of Allah, Shaddad and his people rejected the revelation. They held on to their idols and power and continued their old ways. The Qur'an describes this. تِلْكَ عَادٌ جَحَدُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ وَعَصَوْا رُسُلَهُ وَاتَّبَعُوا أَمْرَ كُلِّ جَبَّارٍ عَنِيدٍ أَوَأُتْبِعُوا فِي هَذِهِ الدُّنْيَا لَعْنَةً وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَلَا إِنَّ عَادًا كَفَرُوا رَبَّهُمْ أَلَا بُعْدًا لِعَادٍ قَوْمِ هُودٍ. That was Ad. They rejected the signs of their Lord, disobeyed his messengers, and followed every stubborn tyrant. So they were cursed in this world and on the day of judgment. Surely Ad disbelieved in their Lord, so away with Ad the people of Hud. The mission of Hud and the rejection by the Ad. Hud called the people of Ad to worship Allah, stop idol worship, and avoid injustice. He warned them that if they didn't change, they would face Allah's punishment, but they mocked him and refused to believe. The leaders of Ad tried to deny his message with slander. They defended their idols and didn't take Allah's punishment seriously. The Qur'an describes this. قَالَ الْمَلَأُ الَّذَيْنَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ قَوْمِهِ إِنَّا لَنَرَكَ فِي سَفَاهَةٍ وَإِنَّا لَا نَظُنُّكَ مِنَ الْكَاذِبِينَ قال يا قوم ليس بسفهة ولكن رسول من رب العالمين أتنهانا عن آلهتنا فأتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين. The disbelieving leaders of his people said, "We see you in foolishness, and we think you are among the liars." He said, "O my people, there is no foolishness in me. I am a messenger from the Lord of the worlds. Have you come to stop us from our gods? Then bring us what you are threatening us with, if you are truthful." Shaddad's fake paradise and Hud's warning. The people of Ad continued their idolatry by rejecting the call of Tawhid from Prophet Hud. Shaddad and his followers used many methods to stop Hud from spreading his message, and they rebelled against the signs of Allah. The Qur'an tells us, قَالُوا يَا هُدْ مَا جِئْتَنَا بِبَيِّنَةٍ وَمَا نَحْنُ بِتَارِكِ آلِهَتِنَا عَنْ قَوْلِكَ وَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. They said, "O Hud, you have not brought us any clear proof. We will not abandon our gods because of what you say. We do not believe you." The people of Ad became arrogant because of their power and wealth. Shaddad and his supporters acted tyrannically. They oppressed their people and spread injustice. They believed their idols would protect them and that they could escape Allah's punishment. In Surah Al-Shu'ara they are quoted, وَقَالُوا مَنْ أَشَدُّ مِنَّا قُوَّةً أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّ لِلَّهَ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُمْ هُوَ أَشَدُّ مِنْهُمْ قُوَّةً. They said, "Who is stronger than us in power?" Did they not see that Allah, who created them, is stronger than them in power? Later, Hud told them, "If you follow Allah's commands, He promises you palaces under which rivers flow. Leave shirk, stop worshipping Shaddad, do not worship anyone but Allah and follow me. I do not ask you for any reward. My reward is only from the one who created me." When Shaddad heard this, he said, "Bring me this man Hud, who claims to be a prophet." Then he said to Hud, "How can you claim prophethood while I am a god, and I did not assign you this task?" Hud spoke to him about Allah. Shaddad replied, "I promise people a better life. What does your Allah promise?" Hud said, "He promises palaces with rivers flowing beneath, eternal gardens, beautiful companions, emeralds, gold, thrones and clothes no tailor can make. He promises a place where no one will get sick, old, sad, sleepy, or die." Shaddad said, "If he promises palaces under which rivers flow, I will build one myself." So, Shaddad gathered every craftsman and architect under his command. He assigned each group of workers 1,000 helpers, forming an army of 100,000 construction workers. He told them, "Go and find a place with the best air and no other place more beautiful than it." He sent messages to all his governors to collect all the gold, silver, pearls and rubies in their lands. He also ordered the collection of perfumes like musk and saffron for this fake paradise he would build. It's said that at that time, if something was for sale, no one could afford it. People became so desperate that they would search for gold and silver in the graves of the dead. Shaddad finally completed his goal. He built a city where the bricks were mixed with silver, the domes were decorated with red rubies, and instead of sand and stones, the shores were covered with pearls. On the riverbanks, he placed jewel trees made from green peridot. The leaves were made of red gold and the flowers of silver. For every kind of bird, nests were built, filled with musk and amber. He even built mounds of musk and amber in many places. When the wind blew gently, the whole city would smell fragrant. When the sun shined on the city, the reflection of gold, silver, and jewels was so intense that it dazzled the eyes. The most handsome men and the most beautiful women were placed in palaces around the city. Then Shaddad said to Hud, "Come and see my paradise. Does your promised heaven look like this or not?" Hud replied, "O poor soul, you speak with arrogance, trusting your power and your kingdom. Don't you fear Allah? Do you know what your end will be?" Shaddad said, "No one can destroy this city. It's built at the base of mountains. The homes are stronger because they draw strength from the mountains. They are protected against earthquakes." Shaddad's main goal was to make everyone on earth submit to him. He wanted people to worship his statues and treated anyone who refused with cruelty and oppression. He built the gardens of Iram to compete with Allah, trying to create an alternative to paradise. But he forgot one thing: death. Shaddad's claim, the people of Ad's arrogance, and the destruction that followed. Shaddad used to say, "No one can destroy this land. If Allah has a paradise, then Shaddad has the gardens of Iram." But Shaddad would not be able to enjoy it for long. As Prophet Hud continued delivering his message, the people of Ad became more aggressive. They were confident that their idols would protect them. They truly believed that they alone had full control and authority. They kept saying, "Wa ma nahnu bi mu'addaban," we will not be punished. They convinced themselves of this false belief. The people of Ad tortured the believers who accepted Hud's message. They even threw them into prisons, hoping to break their spirit. They mocked Hud and said, "Go ahead, bring us the punishment you keep talking about." Soon, signs of punishment started to appear. Rivers dried up. Green lands turned yellow. The beautiful gardens of Iram, with their famous fruits and plants, began to die one by one. Drought spread everywhere. Prophet Hud gave them one last warning: فَإِن تَوَلَّيْتُمْ فَقَدْ أَبْلَغْتُكُمْ مَا أُرْسِلْتُ بِهِ إِلَيْكُمْ وَيَسْتَخْلِفُ رَبِّي قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. If you now turn away, then know that I have delivered the message with which I was sent. My Lord will replace you with another people. Those once strong, muscular, and mighty people became desperate for just a sip of water or a piece of bread. Hud repeated his message, وَإِن تَوَلَّيْتُمْ فَإِنِّي قَدْ أَبْلَغْتُكُمْ مَا أُرْسِلْتُ بِهِ إِلَيْكُمْ وَيَسْتَخْلِفُ رَبِّي قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ وَلَا تَضُرُّونَهُ شَيْئًا إِنَّ رَبِّي عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَفِيظٌ. If you now turn away, I have truly delivered the message. My Lord will replace you with others, and you will not harm him at all. My Lord is the guardian over all things. But the people of Ad refused to stop worshipping Shaddad. Every prophet makes a final prayer when no other solution remains. Hud also turned to his Lord and said, "O Allah, destroy this people. Put distance between me and them. I conveyed the truth, but they refused to listen." The Qur'an says, وَأَمَّا عَادٌ فَاسْتَكْبَرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ وَقَالُوا مَنْ أَشَدُّ مِنَّا قُوَّةً أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّ اللَّهَ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُمْ هُوَ أَشَدُّ مِنْهُمْ قُوَّةً وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يَجْحَدُونَ. As for Ad, they became arrogant in the land without right and said, "Who is stronger than us?" Did they not see that Allah, who created them, is stronger than them in power? They continued to deny our signs. The people of Ad were destroyed by a deadly storm that lasted for days. The Qur'an describes this. فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهُ عَارِضًا مُسْتَقْبِلَ أَوْدِيَتِهِمْ قَالُوا هَذَا عَارِضٌ مُمْطِرُنَا بَلْ هُوَ مَا اسْتَعْجَلْتُمْ بِهِ رِيحٌ فِيهَا عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. When they saw a cloud approaching their valleys, they said, "This is a cloud that will bring us rain." No, it is what you rush to face, a wind with painful punishment. As Hud prayed against them, severe storms and powerful winds wiped them out in a matter of days. Angel Michael knows how much rain will fall or how strong the wind will be. But only Allah knew how strong the wind would be on that day. Not even the angels could measure it. Those giants, whose waists they buried in the ground to avoid being blown away, were thrown from side to side by Allah's power. They were destroyed by the very wind they thought could not touch them, and Shaddad became the lead figure in one of history's greatest destructions. Ibrahim discovers the grave of Shaddad. One day, Jibril brought a revelation to Prophet Ibrahim. He said, "Inside this mountain is a cave. I do not know what is inside, but go there. One of the greatest enemies of Allah lies in that cave." Ibrahim entered and found a grave. It belonged to Shaddad, the king of the Ad people. The grave was covered with fine silk cloths. At its head was a stone tablet with something written by Shaddad himself. "O people, take a lesson from me, you who are proud of your long lives, your power, your kingdoms, and your armies. Know that I am Shaddad. I relied on my strength and wealth. I believed the world belonged to me. The kings of the earth feared me and obeyed me. Then Hud came. He found us in rebellion. He invited us to follow his religion. But we trusted in our power and ignored his words. We disobeyed him. Then a punishment from the sky came down. It destroyed me and my army. Look at me now and take warning." Lessons from the story of the people of Ad. The Qur'an tells us stories like that of the people of Ad so that we can take lessons. These are warnings about what happens to people who disobey Allah. The story of Ad is a reminder today as well. It calls people to return to Allah and to protect moral values. The people of Ad were morally corrupt. They lived in arrogance, pride, and luxury. This led to Allah's punishment. These stories in the Qur'an show the importance of staying humble, holding on to values, and being loyal only to Allah.